Hey, it's John here, and this is 4Clojure problem number 86. Happy numbers, a medium difficulty problem. And what it says is that a happy number is a positive integer that whenever you sum up all the squares of its digits, then it ends in 1 eventually. So you just basically recursively sum up the digits squared and repeat until it somehow converges to 1. Otherwise, at some point it'll repeat and never end. So let's do that. Okay, so we're going to start with our function happy, and it's going to take some number n into it. So the first thing we want to do is make ourselves a function that takes n to let's do the next n. So this will be the function that transforms our n into its result from this formula, the sum of the squares of the digits. Alright, so we're going to have a function of a n that comes in, and we're going to take our n, we will turn it into a string, then we will turn that string into a sequence, and then we will map over that sequence a function. We'll map the function integer slash parse int, and we turn the characters that result out of that into a string. Okay, so that basically is going to give us a number turned into a list of digits. So let's just try that out and make sure we're on the right path. So we're going to call this, we'll say 98. Let's just do this test case here. We actually need to call our function next n of n. Okay, there we go. So we took some big number and got a list of its digits through all that work. Okay, so the next thing to do is we want to map the function of multiplying each one by itself, which is squaring it, and then we will reduce that with adding. Okay, so now we have the sum of the squares of a number, the sum of the squares of the digits of a number. Alright, now that we have that, let's write our function. So we're going to do a loop, and we will have some n to start with, and then we're going to have to keep track of history so that we can do some cycle detection. Let's just assume it's not going to get too big and make a set. We're just going to keep track of every number that ever comes through this loop. Let's just print line each one as they come through for debugging purposes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if n is equal to 1, then we know this is a happy number. Otherwise, if our history contains n, then we have a cycle, so that's false. Otherwise, we're going to recur through here, and so the recur will be to run our function to get the next n on our current n, and then we will update our history with the current value. Okay, so we had our function that figures out the next value, and we just loop through this recursive definition of the next number. keeping track of the history as we go. If we ever equal to 1, then we know it's true. If we ever detect a cycle by finding the current value in the history, then we know it's false. Okay. So we can get rid of that. Start tidying up here. Okay. And that came out to true, and you can see the history here. So that looks like it worked. We can try 7. That came out true. 2, false, and 3 comes out false. We ended on 37, and here we see we have 37 in our history, so that shows it's a cycle. So we don't need the print line, that was just a debug with. And we can put this answer in the site and see what it says. Alright, we got it right. Thank you for watching.